Arsenal lost the air of invincibility that's seen them come through one or two sticky moments this season. Bobby Campbell's kids on a high after winning at Spurs in the Rumbelows Cup and going in front through Graham Stewart, one of Chelsea's younger generation. And by the time Chelsea put the game out of reach, and only just out of reach, Arsenal were pushing forward, making life uncomfortable for Besant, but inevitably leaving gaps, one of which Kerry Dixon was delighted to exploit. Arsenal have only won once in 5 games, but statistics can often be misleading. If they've got the character to try and rescue a lost cause, as they did through Alan Smith, they certainly have the talent to go with it and to start winning again soon. There was an element of, if at first you don't succeed about this one. Palace beating Forest for the first time at the 5th attempt this season. Eric Young's header 4 minutes from time to leave them only 3 points behind Arsenal. Having spent 10 years in the 3rd division with Brentford, Sheffield United's Bob Booker isn't going to give up his 1st division status without a fight. He led the way, wearing Vinnie Jones' number 4 shirt, in United's best performance of the season, scoring after 20 minutes and then a minute later. It was a misty old afternoon at Bramall Lane and a mist in the eyes of Southampton's defenders, who found themselves penned in by the concentration of United's repeated attacks. This is Brian Deane. Glyn Hodges, on loan from Crystal Palace, he got the winner against Derby last week and chipped in with the 3rd. The 4th came a minute after that. A suspicion of offside attached, but Brian Deane weighed in with his 12th of the season, 4-0 before the half-hour mark. After the break, which saw the usually laid-back Chris Nicholl laying into his team, Southampton pulled one back through Kevin Moore. But Harry's boys are off the bottom for the first time in 4 months. A goal of the day contender and one to vote for if you feel it's time. A Brazilian-style free kick got the nod from Ian St John. That was Kingsley Black. With only 12 goals from their last 16 games, QPR were up against it, and that's putting it mildly. But enter Les Ferdinand. There were more unexpected twists and tales than usual near the bottom. Mind you, Luton only have themselves to blame. This is the 90th minute. This goal of the day contender was Rangers' winner. Ferdinand unchallenged and therefore unstoppable. As one reporter put it, this game could give 5-goal thrillers a bad name. Dean Saunders enabled Mick Harford to put Derby in front. And if it's any consolation at all to Derby, which I doubt, it must be that their goals were of greater quality. Their lead lasted 2 minutes when Gary Micklewhite committed Harry Carey, an irrational moment that gave Gordon Cowans the opportunity to score his 1st of the season. Villa's penalty taker in the absence of David Platt. Now, anyone who rings in and votes for Villa's 2nd as a goal of the day contender will be dispatched forthwith to the funny farm, more like a loose scrum, with the ball eventually coming out to Tony Cascarino on the blind side, and his 1st in the league since September. 5 minutes later, Villa took a match-winning lead when the ball was played through for the Tobagan World Cup player Dwight York to score his 1st goal for the club. And a little reminder that Roger Milla and the Cameroons are here this week. Derby's response was a genuine goal of the day contender from Mel Sage, but defeat means they go bottom. 2 points out of the last 27, 6 straight defeats. A genuine crisis. Sunderland are heading that way. At the moment, they're relying on picking up points at home because their recent record away is far from encouraging. Gary Owers stuck up a hand, and defensively that was their first big mistake, an hour gone. Tony Norman made a valiant attempt to prevent Sheedy's penalty from going in, but he couldn't do anything about the rebound. Unfortunately, he could have done plenty to prevent Everton's 2nd after some neat work down the right by Neil MacDonald. But Peter Beagri's header squeezed through, followed by the obligatory somersaults, the closest Everton came to hitting the heights in a drab game. Since their last outings in the league, Coventry have been removed from both the major cup competitions, Wimbledon out of the FA Cup at Shrewsbury. 1 goal in it, fashion who's knocked down for the former Coventry man Terry Gibson. Less than 5,000 bothered to turn up. 4 wins on the trot is usually about as long as Norwich go without a hiccup. It was brought about by Manchester City's 4th win on the trot, and a goal of the day contender after 2 minutes by Niall Quinn. City went 2 up just before half-time. Quinn's header, and with Clive Allen contemplating an overhead, man of the match David White whipped it in. Roles reversed from the first goal. Norwich got one back with about 10 minutes left, a bit scrappy really in comparison to some of their recent goals. Quinn got himself all tangled up on the line and John Polston knocked it in.